Today, we're exploring the most iconic one-handed swords that shaped warfare across continents and centuries. Trust me, by the end of this video, you'll understand why these particular blades became legendary. One-handed swords dominated battlefields for thousands of years, offering the perfect balance between offensive power and defensive versatility. Whether paired with shields, secondary weapons, or used alone, these swords defined entire eras of combat. Let's journey through history's most popular one-handed blades, examining what made each one a favorite among warriors, why they spread so widely, and how they influenced sword design for generations. Ancient world, 3000 BCE to 500 CE. The ancient world saw the birth of metallurgy and organized warfare. From bronze weapons of early civilizations to iron blades of mighty empires, swords evolved from simple tools into symbols of power. Gladius, Rome. The gladius represents perhaps the most successful sword design in ancient history. This short double-edged blade, measuring 18 to 24 inches, became the standard weapon of Roman legionaries for over 500 years. What made it so popular was perfect design for formation fighting. The broad blade allowed devastating thrusts and powerful cuts, while its compact length enabled shield-to-shield fighting in tight ranks. Military historians credit the gladius with conquering more territory than any other pre-gunpowder weapon. Spatha, Rome. The spatha evolved as Rome's cavalry sword, featuring a longer blade of 30 to 40 inches. Roman cavalry needed greater reach for mounted combat, and the spatha delivered. What made it historically significant was its influence on later European sword design. As Rome declined, the spatha became the template for migration era and medieval swords. Its straight, double-edged design became the foundation for nearly all European sword development over the next 1,000 years. Xiphos, Greece. The xiphos served as the sidearm of Greek hoplites throughout the classical period. This leaf-shaped, double-edged blade, measuring 20 to 24 inches, functioned as backup when spears broke. The leaf-shaped blade concentrated weight toward the tip for powerful chopping while maintaining a sharp point for thrusting. It became the quintessential Greek blade, carried from Spartan warriors to Athenian citizen soldiers. Medieval era, 500 CE to 1400 CE. The Middle Ages transformed swords into symbols of knighthood and nobility. As armor improved and feudalism took hold, sword designs adapted to new challenges. Viking sword. The Viking sword dominated northern Europe from the 8th to the 11th centuries. These single-handed blades, measuring 28 to 32 inches, featured wide, double-edged blades optimized for slashing. Vikings prized their swords above all weapons, often giving them names and passing them down through generations. The pattern-welded construction created beautiful, flexible blades that could withstand brutal combat. Combined with shields, Viking swords enabled the raiding and conquest that spread Norse influence across Europe. Arming sword. The arming sword became the definitive knightly weapon from the 11th to 15th centuries. This versatile blade, measuring 28 to 32 inches, paired perfectly with shields. Its popularity stemmed from balanced design. Earlier versions featured wide blades for cutting through mail, while later models developed tapered points for thrusting into plate armor gaps. Knights wore arming swords constantly, making them the most common knightly weapon. The cruciform crossguard became iconic, transforming swords into Christian symbols during the Crusades. Hey, if you're enjoying this journey through sword history, make sure to hit that subscribe button. We've got tons more fascinating weapon content coming your way. Falchion. The falchion became one of medieval Europe's most popular single-edged swords. Measuring 24 to 36 inches with a widening blade, it delivered devastating chopping power. What made it widespread was accessibility. While knights carried arming swords, common soldiers and archers often wielded falchions. The single edge made them cheaper to produce, and their forward weight allowed even untrained users to deliver effective strikes. Renaissance era. 1400 to 1700. The Renaissance brought radical changes to sword design. As firearms began dominating battlefields, swords transitioned to sidearms and dueling tools, with civilian sword culture flourishing. Rapier. The rapier revolutionized European sword culture in the 16th and 17th centuries. These long, slender thrusting swords, measuring 40 to 50 inches, became incredibly popular among nobility. What drove their popularity was changing combat contexts. As armor declined and civilian dueling increased, the rapier's superior reach and precision made it the ultimate dueling weapon. Complex hilts protected the hand while allowing sophisticated fencing techniques. Rapiers became fashion statements, with elaborate decoration reflecting owner status. Side sword. The side sword emerged as a transitional weapon measuring 36 to 42 inches. Popular throughout the 16th century, it combined effective cutting edges with capable thrusting points. Military officers, city guards, and civilians all carried side swords because they worked equally well in battlefield contexts and street encounters. Side swords represented the perfect middle ground for an era transitioning between armored combat and civilian dueling. Katzbalger. The Katzbalger became the iconic sidearm of German Landsknecht mercenaries during the 16th century. This short sword, measuring 16 to 24 inches, featured a distinctive S-shaped guard. Landsknechts wielded massive pikes as primary weapons, but needed compact swords for close combat. The Katzbalger's short length allowed quick draws in chaotic melees, while its wide blade delivered effective cuts. Basket-hilted broadsword. The Scottish basket-hilted broadsword became legendary from the 17th to 18th centuries. These swords, measuring 32 to 36 inches, featured intricate basket guards protecting the entire hand. Highland clans favored them for their combination of protection and power. The basket hilt allowed aggressive fighting without risking hand wounds, while the broad blade delivered devastating cuts. Paired with targes, these swords became symbols of Scottish martial culture. Global traditions, 1400 to 1900. While Europe developed its sword traditions, other cultures perfected their own distinctive blade designs. These regional weapons became just as popular and influential within their spheres. Kili, Ottoman Empire. The Kilish dominated Ottoman military forces from the 15th to 19th centuries. This curved sword, measuring 32 to 36 inches, featured a distinctive flared tip called a yeoman. What made it so successful was optimized cutting geometry. The curve enhanced slashing power from horseback, while the yeoman increased cutting surface at the blade's tip. The Killage became synonymous with Ottoman military might, carried by janissaries and cavalry alike. Shamshir, Persia. The Persian shamshir, with its deeply curved blade measuring 32 to 36 inches, became one of the most elegant sword designs in history. Popular throughout the Middle East and India from the 16th century onward, its graceful curve created devastating draw cuts. Persian nobility prized shamshirs for both combat and ceremonial purposes. Its design influenced sword development across Islamic civilizations. Talwar, India. The talwar became the characteristic sword of the Indian subcontinent. This curved blade, measuring 30 to 36 inches, featured a distinctive disc-shaped pommel. Mughal cavalry made the talwar famous from the 16th to 19th centuries. The talwar combined Middle Eastern curved blade geometry with uniquely Indian hilt designs. Warriors across the subcontinent carried talwars regardless of religion or ethnicity. Katana, Japan. The katana became Japan's most iconic sword, measuring 24 to 30 inches with a distinctive curve. Samurai carried katanas from the 15th century until the Meiji Restoration. What made it legendary was cultural significance beyond its function as a weapon. Japanese swordsmiths developed sophisticated differential hardening techniques, creating blades with hard edges and flexible spines. Samurai considered their katanas extensions of their souls, with blade quality reflecting their status. Modern military era, 1700 to 1900. The final centuries of sword combat saw military standardization and the slow decline of swords as primary weapons. However, cavalry units kept swords longest, developing designs that remained popular until World War I. Saber. Military sabers became the dominant cavalry sword worldwide from the 18th century onward. These curved, single-edged blades, measuring 32 to 40 inches, equipped cavalry from Europe to the Americas. What made sabers so universally popular was proven effectiveness. The curve created natural slicing motions from horseback, while forward-weighted balance concentrated force in cutting. Every major military power developed their own saber patterns, from the French cuirassier saber to the British 1796 light cavalry saber. Sabers remained standard cavalry equipment through World War I, outlasting nearly all other sword types. Small sword. The small sword became the gentleman's essential accessory throughout the 18th century. These slender thrusting swords, measuring 30 to 36 inches, featured minimal guards and extremely narrow blades. Their popularity stemmed from social function. As dueling culture flourished and daily fashion became more refined, small swords could be worn unobtrusively as part of formal dress. They represented the ultimate evolution of civilian swords, pure thrusting weapons designed for quick, lethal duels. Though impractical for warfare, small swords remained popular among European upper classes until the early 19th century. Cutlass. The cutlass became the definitive naval weapon from the 17th to 19th centuries. These short, curved blades, measuring 24 to 30 inches, equipped sailors worldwide. What made cutlasses so popular aboard ships was specialized design for maritime combat. The short length prevented tangling and rigging, while the robust construction withstood corrosive salt environments. Simple design meant ship armorers could repair them easily. Cutlasses required minimal training, making them perfect for merchant sailors pressed into combat. From Caribbean pirates to Royal Navy ratings, the cutlass became synonymous with naval warfare. And there you have it. The most popular one-handed swords that shaped military history across civilizations and centuries. From the disciplined gladius of Rome to the elegant shamshir of Persia, each weapon earned its popularity through proven effectiveness and cultural resonance. These weren't just tools of war. They were symbols of entire warrior cultures, technological achievements, and the martial traditions that defined their eras. Before you go, don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell. We're constantly exploring the fascinating world of historical weapons. What's your favorite one-handed sword from today's list? Drop a comment below and let us know.